pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, one thing that's not in the agenda tonight, and council, if y'all want it, or citizens, if y'all want to look at it, there's going to be an evaluation of the city's stability for bonds. And the company that's doing it here, all the paperwork that goes with it, I didn't make copies of it because it's a bunch, and it won't affect us. They're going to do the evaluation, but somebody wants to look at it. This is a packet of all of that, but most of it's stuff we've already went over. Unless he's added something like Brenda had to get, how many doctors we had in town, and that's all in this packet if anybody wants to ever look at it. It's not, the next month we'll go over everything, but they're doing an evaluation for us on our, how financially stable the city of Glenwood is, and that'll determine the interest rate on your bonds. All right, roll call.
Terry Brady. Chris Ford.
Present.
Alan Moore. Here. Jimmy Close. Absent.
He should be here in a few minutes.
Good.
You got the minutes? Minutes? You got yours over there? Or is that in up here?
Yeah, that's yours. Give me that one now, please.
Do you have one down there? All right. Minutes are in front of you. We got two copies of them, so.
Yeah. Two copies to sign. I got one here and there's one there. You got, yeah. Because there was so many, we messed up on signature to Chris, but that's on the back page.
Anything needs to be changed in the minutes, or everybody have a motion to accept the minutes? Huh?
Make a motion to pass August 22nd, 23 minutes with
The spelling here?
the change of the spelling. I'll second that motion.
Roll call.
Terry Brady. Chris Ford. Alan Moore. Here.
Financials for, August the 30th, 23. That's one of them.
Okay.
Give me
Hey Billy, this guy started it.
Huh?
This guy started it.
Just started. All right. It's actually a balance sheet on financials. We'll approve the budget. You'll gotta approve what you passed forward last month, and we'll look at the budget, where we are in the budget next month.
Is there anything out of the norm on this?
Spending money on water and sewer department.
Yeah, that's about it. We know it is, the email we got. Pretty
we're not through with that discussion. Got a lot more to talk about, unfortunately.
Need a motion?
Yes, to accept the
Make a
financials.
motion to accept the financials.
I'll second
Roll call. Terry Gray. Chris Ford.
that.
Alan Moore.
Okay, resolution 2310. And this contract with North Pike County is what Kobe said to 2% for 2 years. So we've got to do a resolution first and then we're gonna vote on the ordinance. But
Kobe is the really nice elderly man that stepped in and pinch hit for the last.
Kobe is the one that did our Act 605 rates.
Okay,
And
yeah.
there's a letter in here where it all come back from, right, it'll be one of the letters in here tonight. Here it is, where it's all come back, everything's clear, everything's good, they liked what they saw, so everything's done. And, their contract is expired, so we gotta have it.
Didn't
this
he have
month.
like 35, 40 years experience doing
Oh, yeah,
this?
he's done, yeah, that's what he's done for years.
Okay, I was making sure I had the right one.
You got the right one.
What's the actual resolution?
23, we're up
2310 is what
10.
we're
2310.
going with.
Somebody read the resolution? Let's read it. You wanna read it?
A resolution to establish the rates for services furnished by the Glenwood Water System of the City of Glenwood, Arkansas to North Pike County Water Association, North Pike County Water, and for other purposes. Whereas the City of Glenwood agrees to sell water to the North Pike County Water Association, North Pike County Water Association, enacted by Resolution 2310,
Yes, ma'am.
which established monthly water rates, and whereas it is necessary to provide for annual incremental increases to the water rate in order to keep pace with the increased cost of chemicals, labor, operation, and maintenance, and other expenses of the municipal utility system. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Glenwood, Arkansas, that the rates for services established by resolution number 2310 shall be increased by 2% on January 1st, 2024 billing, and by 2% each successive January 1st thereafter per the 2-year life of this contract. Passed and adopted by the City Council of the City of Glenwood, State of Arkansas on this 22nd day today.
19.
Oh, sorry, 19th day of August 2023.
And just to make a note, this was the one that was at 4.5% annual increase.
Yes.
And it's cutting it more than half.
But it's gonna do the same thing the city. does.
Correct.
Did y'all adopt it? Did y'all see it? Okay.
All right, do I have a motion to accept resolution 2310?
I'll make a motion.
Have a second? Roll call, please.
Chris Ford.
Aye.
Terry Gray. Alan Moore.
Would you get me another one of these so we can, they may want a copy taken on them?
Did you ever take a full vote on that?
He just did a roll call on the resolution. We haven't voted on the ordinance yet. Or on the contract. All right, next thing in front of you is the contract, and for you guys, this is just like the last one, except it says 2% for 2 years instead of 4.5 and 5.
Come up and sign it.
Yeah, if y'all come up and sign it, would y'all make a motion to accept the contract, please? You did the resolution, I got to approve the contract, this is the same thing you've already said.
I make a motion to accept the contract.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Chris Ford.
Aye.
Alan Moore.
Aye.
Terry Gray.
Randy, can you make a copy of this, please? You need the original in your office. If you do, make 3 copies, please. 4 copies. Well, you can have that one, just keep Brian and me, and you're the original. That's it. September, is it August or September? Yeah, that needs to be September. Get me a clean one, sheets, and do September. Who's got a clean one? Y'all got one of those, let me have a clean, because these all got September. No, you got one right here. It should make him an extra copy.
Except David's still.
Here's mine, copy, they need a copy, and you need a copy.
Is this right here?
Where are you on the agenda?
Did I sign it first? Where'd they sign? They signed, we signed it.
This one's way down.
Okay, she's gonna make copies.
Which one can be a field?
Is that signed?
This one's all signed.
Okay. The profit and loss, year budget, we all tabled last month, is back before you for approval of that. And like I say, expenses, water, sewer, pumps, and things fixed, your, street's gonna be ahead of budget because you did more street work, but you knew that, so there's nothing new coming in there. I'm sure city general won't stand budget for the year either. But you're aware of that. Is there anything that you're not aware of?
624.
Jimmy Clark is now president.
We need to excuse
If you look at street fund, you will be way over budget now because you did the street projects that were approved in prior year budget. You're not spending more than you should, they were prior year budgets. And you're just now doing the sidewalk projects in this year's budget. So the money was appropriated in prior year budgets, but the money's been spent in this year's budget. So you're gonna be way over in street because the money was budgeted in prior year and not spent till this year. We still have not moved money from back in the general fund because she hasn't got all the money in, yet on the streets. We've got CDs, y'all didn't want to pass it. And we'll be fine, we just gotta get that money spent all spent around. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much.
Looks like it is what it is, I'm making a motion. Move forward.
Have a motion to accept the actual against the budget for July, up through July. Have a second.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Jimmy Clark,
Yeah.
Terry Brady, Chris Fuller, Alan Moore.
Next thing, I did y'all a spreadsheet. We have insurance on the dog, pound. It's going up $2,000 from last year. Everything's going up a lot. I'm not trying to say this in a mean way, but we need to look at the municipal league and getting our property insurance because they only insure towns and they insure a lot different. Right now, we have co-insurance on about 90% of what we have insured. And a lot of these values are about 30% of the actual value. So if you got $1 million worth of insurance and it's a $3 million policy, $1 million policy with co-insurance, and it's a $3 million value on a loss, you've only got $330,000 worth of insurance, not $1 million. And then you got, you're not in compliance with your 80-20 co-insurance, so you lose another 20% and the deductible. So if we think we got $1 million insurance when you're looking down there with this co-insurance, we don't. Because for instance, at the sewer plant, we're only insured about $700,000 for everything out there. That's probably an $8 million facility. So I talked to the municipal league today, and they're gonna give us a quote for like we have today. That'll bind us, and then they'll come down. That will be there. A lot cheaper for cities to buy usually than, I don't have you a number tonight, but I'm gonna get a quote from this week. Those are the 49 properties at the cities. If it doesn't show any insurance on them, we don't have any insurance on them. Some of the stuff we're insuring, we don't need insurance. We got a meter vault insured for $60,000. Ain't nothing gonna burn up a meter vault. Ain't no tornado gonna hurt it, ain't no flood gonna hurt it. I mean, but the way the municipal league explains it to look is let him make you a quote. Today, we're spending on all insurances at the city, $71,467.80 on 5 different policies. And we do not have proper insurance anywhere, and 80% of our policies are co-insurance. I just found this out when we was looking at redoing the dog pen up here, and it come in $2,000, went $4,000, $6,000 on insuring that little building up there that the dog pen's in and that. So I will have y'all a quote, by the next meeting, but we need to do something if they get a quote to us before then, because we will not have insurance unless y'all wanna pay $6,000 for that, building up there at the dog kennel.
Is he insured for $236,000?
And I think that one building is way over insured.
Yeah, even the trailer's way over insured at $100,000.
I don't know how those got that high, but if you look at the rest of it, the water plant is the closest thing we got. It's insured at $3,258,150. That's probably the closest thing we've got to value, other than the dog pen's over. But the gentleman will come down, he said what they usually do in cities is they bind you under what you were, if the premium's right, he's gonna give you a quote on what you have insurance today, so that's an apple for an apple. He's gonna give us a quote on that, and I think he'll come in way under where we are, but then and with them, there is no co-insurance. If you decide on City Hall here, you wanna put $100,000 worth of insurance on it, and it burns to the ground, even though this building may be a $750,000 building, they'll write you a check for $100,000. They don't have co-insurance. But you can't hardly buy name peril policies. Everybody got homeowners insurance, and I better look at it, because if you got co-insurance, you're insured the same way. Co-insurance is co-insurance no matter who writes it. It's not good insurance. You think you got something you don't have, unless you're staying insured to the exact replacement cost value. If your replacement cost value, you're fine. But we're not on these. So, if y'all see anything we've missed, I worked to get this together, Brenda and I worked on this, and DJ and I went around and looked at the properties, and, we tried to look and get, all this down. This is our first shot at this spreadsheet, trying to get everything put together. Brenda had some good numbers on some of the stuff she had, and she forgot some buildings. I put some things down, I forgot some buildings, but between us, we think we've got everything listed. And with the municipal league, if they're cheaper and you wanna go with them, they would bind the policy on what you have insurance value today till they can get down here and look at it.
This bottom left-hand number is down here, that's what it's costing us. a
That's
year.
what we're paying in the 6 policies we've got now. We're insured with 6 different companies right now. And that's a mess, if anybody do insurance with properties and 6 different
Sounds like
insurers.
a little dog pound that they base their insurance off of the property and everything, you know, the property ain't gonna burn up. You say, I mean, anything over $30,000-$40,000 is way too much insurance for that place.
I don't disagree. But anyway, I think we need to look at the whole policy as a whole, because you get hit, I don't think the insurance company likes, we had a water plant hit up there with, see, Derek's, getting pretty close to home, Derek's got wiped out by a tornado, they lost their water plant. It took a block building to the ground, well, it took the top floor off of it, I think they said on the bottom floor. But you know, so if you sit down here and we go out and we're getting new insurance, getting new policies, doing all this work we're doing, and you ain't got enough insurance in it, you get a building destroyed, we're in trouble.
You're fixing to do $3 more million of work too, one place, so, we're gonna need $3 million we got now, we're gonna need $6 million.
You'll have, yeah, and in talking with the adjuster, they want your city engineer on the water plant and the sewer plant to establish values. They're gonna work with them on establishing values, because they said there's so much difference in water and sewer plants. And Karen and Andy already have this sheet, and they're gonna start working. So, we're talking a $70,000 expense here. Y'all need to tell me, we're gonna need to make a move on it before the next council meeting if we get something. Cause I don't have any, unless you're wanting to pay $6,000 insurance, that's the only quote today I've got until they get back with us.
When they come back, let's say we do it and they come back down, or they, when the adjuster come down and actually quote us what it needs to be? or-
Yes, he'll adjust, but he's gonna base the premium he's gonna quote you on, and I can get back with y'all individually on what that is. As long as it's under that $71,000, I would say you need to move with him. I don't have a number. If he's not cheaper than that, stay where you are.
I'm just saying some of these are either overinsured or not insured enough, don't need to be insured.
Correct.
Okay. that's
But he'll bind the policy the way that we have the 6 policies written today. If he's cheaper, if he's not cheaper, we're gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
But, I don't think you'll do anything, but I think you're gonna be a lot better rate from all the other cities I'm talking to. The premiums are 50 to 75% difference. But you're buying a specific city, municipal league only insures city property, that's all they insure. And see, we got tort immunity on your liability, so that takes a big thing out of, all the other insurance companies, they got, everybody else has liability. The city doesn't have liability because we're tort immunity on all buildings up here, so.
Hey, Billy, you've been in business for 50 years. Can we not just authorize you to make your best call on this stuff if it's gonna come between meetings, and maybe make a call to a councilman or two if you feel?
I can call it, I won't be interested in this unless it's coming in way cheaper than
Right,
this.
that's all I'm saying.
But if you bind this, then they'll come back and redo it if they come in cheaper. If they'll come back in cheaper, I'll renew the $6,000 policy at the dog pound.
I'd be in favor of authorizing you to make the best call on the insurance, cause it gets really, I mean, it looks good on the surface. I mean, I spend lots of money on insurance ourselves, and, it looks good on the surface, and you go to read into it, and there's a huge difference in replacement value and insured value. I mean, a major difference.
Well, the big thing that municipal league does that no other insurance company does, you can insure for just a dollar amount. Won't put your building down, but you're not gonna be under co-insurance with them. So if you decide you don't wanna insure but for what the amounts are here, you can leave it there. But just know, that's all the insurance you got.
Well, it's
But they will
something-
send they're gonna send an appraiser down and adjuster down and look at all your building values. But to bind the policy, he said the best way to start, if he's cheaper, would be to bind at these amounts, and then they'll adjust it as quick as the adjuster gets down there and looks at it. And I'd bring, before I did that, I'd wanna bring the totals of what he says we need to adjust up to back to the council for y'all's approval.
Yeah, and over insured, I had a guy sometime back tell me that he had a car insured for $100,000, it was like a $20,000 car. And I thought, why in the world you insured for that much? He said, well, if something happens, it actually was a big truck. He said, if something happens, I want a big check. I said, they ain't gonna give you any more than it's worth, so you can spend all the money you want to on that. It ain't like life insurance.
This, if y'all would give me the approval, if the bid comes in less expensive than we're paying today, we'll move the city's
Or the
policy.
coverage is better, or the coverage.
Well,
offsets it.
to bid on it, he's gonna bid like dollar for dollar.
Right,
If that comes in cheaper,
yeah,
if it don't come in cheaper, stay where you are.
right.
But I would like to say that, and then I'll get him, if it comes in cheaper, then he'll come down and do an appraisal of everything, and we'll bring that back to the council to see if y'all wanna do that. But if it's not cheaper, I'd say stay where you are. Don't need to move it if it's not cheaper.
It seems like to me it needs to be revamped either way, don't it?
It does, but
I don't want him to come under $500 or $1,000, $1,500 cheaper and then revamp it and end up costing $4,000 more.
well, that's why I'm gonna bring it to you before I do any of that, because your dollar amount, he's gonna bid exact dollar for what we have insured today, no more. And we're gonna see what his premium will be. And if it's not less than what we're paying today, then our discussion's through with him, in my opinion. And if not, then put this whole package out for, but I talked to a couple of insurance agents today, and they said, they had looked, or not today, I've been talking to them for 2 weeks, and they said, you're looking at municipal league, we ain't gonna compete. Nobody can compete with what municipal league does for the cities. Because that's all they're insured, they don't have any other risk, but cities and municipal buildings are usually pretty stable. And the liability insurance don't come into play with them. So what do y'all wish? Because we got one policy gotta be redone pretty quick. When is it due, Brenda?
It's due October the 1st, so I may need to make a vote tonight to let you go ahead and
You'd have
go
to,
forward, if that's what they want.
we could probably, he'll probably tell you a price before then, because this is his spreadsheet, we just loaded numbers in it. He said, this ain't long for me to put that number in there, we did this on his spreadsheet, not ours. So y'all,
I'm in favor of you moving forward at your discretion is what I'm in favor of, I don't know how everybody else feels.
I won't move,
I'd rather you bring it back to us.
if it's cheaper than we're paying today for the same coverage, you want to move, and then, but I will not move up with any more money. If this is cheaper, I'm not gonna, even if it comes in under $70,000, I'm still gonna bring it back to you.
I'll do the first thing.
I know, well, he can call each one.
Yeah, I'm saying, we don't have to have another meeting between now.
No, if y'all wanna bind this, he can bind it like you are.
Right, right.
That's, okay.
Yeah. So, motion to bind it?
If it's less expensive than they're paying today, right? That's what I'm understanding? For the exact same coverage. The only thing that will be different is the property we got from Tidwell, and Tidwell makes us pay liability insurance because he owns the building. So we'll have a little bit of a problem there, we need to just go ahead and, if we're gonna take that building, we need to buy it and get it out from under contract so we can get the right insurance.
So, something happens to the building, he gets insurance money on it?
Yes,
Wow.
today. Now, we're paying money and we're insuring his building and his liability, and we get, if something happens to the building, it's his money, not ours. But we're not insured.
Oh, that's great.
That's the contract we signed. Just saying, we need to buy the building, if we're gonna pay the insurance on something happens, so the city ought to have the money on it. If that building burned to the ground, he shouldn't get the money for it.
Well,
That's
if
contract
it's
time.
like anything else that pays off the lien holder, and then any excess would go to the
we don't have a, we just got a lease on it. We don't have a, we're not purchasing that building, we have a lease. So y'all need to make up your mind what you're gonna do. If you're gonna pay insurance on a building, you ought to own
When are we gonna be moved in that
it.
thing?
We got some discussion after what you want to name on it, needs name on it before we move. We're ready.
Yeah, ready?
We're ready to move.
All right, so back to number 6, city insurance.
Y'all need to vote on how you want me to look at it.
Got a
For
motion,
that $70,000, I'm not gonna go move $70,000 without y'all approval.
How you need to work?
motion to bind it, same coverage if it's less.
I make a motion to bind it at same coverage if it's less.
Okay.
That's the only way I'd move it, personally. I'll do what y'all tell me.
Chris made the motion.
You have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Gary Brady, Jimmy Clark,
Aye.
Chris Wood,
Aye.
Al Moore. All in favor?
Okay, the next order of business is to approve a contract with MSI. Brenda, would you please explain MSI?
MSI is our people that keep our court system. They're the ones that do our work on our court system. No one else. They keep us up on legislative laws. With that, they make changes in our court system. If laws changes, they keep us legal within our court system. And they do
How
all
much?
the upkeep on our software. So
$440.
the ones we buy.
Plus tax.
They're it. They've been the same for 21 years. This is their first, administrative cost to keep our program going.
Where were we at?
Do you know what we were paying?
$385.
$385.
And we're going what?
$440 plus tax.
$40.
Make motion to approve the contract for MSI.
Have a motion, have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Roll call?
Jimmy Clark,
Aye.
Al Moore, Chris Wood,
Aye.
Gary Brady.
Brenda, would you keep your copy of that, make two, please? Okay, ADEQ laboratory audit. I'm allowed to say this and say it politely. For the last 4.5 years, our sewer plants just put down whatever wanted to for numbers. Okay? So like I said, here's a report. 24 write-ups for no duplicate record keeping, no equipment, no running. Right.
True.
I mean, where I am, you gotta, it's filed with ADEQ, it's there. We're totally in the wrong. This has nothing to do with the situation at the pond down there. This is a complete other issue. This is a laboratory down there. And guess what else comes up this year? We gotta redo our permit with them. We're sitting real good with them right now. But anyway, if y'all look at that, I went over that with Aaron, and I got DJ, cause DJ used to operate the sewer plant. I got Karen and me sat down in a meeting the other day, and I just kind of scribbled in answers of how we're taking care of the issues, okay? There's nothing to vote on this. This is not good. We are already correcting all the problems we can correct. Everything on here, we're in the wrong on. The sewer pond is a completely different issue. We'll fight that battle out. We're not wrong on that issue out there. This, we're bad wrong. Should have never happened. It's correcting as we speak. We'll get a letter to them on it, on how we're gonna correct everything. Okay? The second part of this problem, if you pull that next sheet down, that says HACH, HACH. We've been paying maintenance on this equipment for the last 5 years, and it's not running. I got equipment that's 5 years old that hasn't been run, that I'm paying maintenance on. Chlorine meters and sensors and all that stuff, it ain't gonna work right when you turn it back on properly. I finally had a meeting with the big bosses at HACH last week and had them understand. They said, well, we got everything on the water plant. I said, you do, everything's fine at the water plant. But I said, 3/4 of the equipment on our contract we're paying maintenance on is at the sewer plant. Well, no, everything's happening at the water plant. I said, you gotta understand, guys, water plant's one issue, sewer plant's another issue. Water plant's fine, and it just had a HACH upgrade, everything on it's picture perfect. They're gonna be here tomorrow. I only got them agreed to come down. Because before I can get in compliance with this letter, this equipment's gotta be working. We've been paying maintenance on it, it's $15,000 a year we've been paying maintenance on for equipment that we hadn't let them even come in the gate and work on. I'm not happy, but it's getting fixed. So just to know where you are, anybody says anything about it, go rent this from ADEQ. It's a nasty letter, and Glenwood's 100% the wrong one. We don't have a leg to stand on anywhere.
But we are fixing it.
It is being fixed. HACH will be here tomorrow, and it may be cheaper to buy new equipment. I don't know the answer to that today, because if our equipment's fixable, we're gonna fix our equipment. If not, we're going to buy new equipment, put a new maintenance contract, and cancel the old ones. I don't have an answer for you tonight on that, but HACH will be here tomorrow. Aaron, on his behalf, has been trying to get them to come. We've been working on this problem since February. I finally got fed up with HACH enough, they wouldn't do anything. I finally got to the top of HACH, and they finally, somebody talked to me last week, and there'll be a guy here tomorrow to look at the condition of our equipment.
Were these not the ones we were paying 11,000 a year and then having?
That's it.
Well,
15 is
that's
water
everything
plant
combined,
too.
that's water plant too.
But anyway, I'll stand up and fight for Glenwood all day long with ADEQ when we're not doing something wrong. The sewer pond, we may have some wrong in it, but we're not all wrong. This, we're all wrong. The sewer pond, we're not. We finally found where the E. coli problem was coming from. It's fixed. We fixed it within 30 minutes of the time we found it. We just couldn't find it. It was 900 foot beyond the last spot we checked it. We kept telling ADEQ the coli readings were higher than they were at the pond. Finally found it. Guy's got a pretty garden and some beautiful elephant ears that are about 9 feet tall in his backyard. Till he was irrigating with it. But anyway. So,
Hey,
we're moving on, and that's, Glenwood's in the wrong, and whatever punishment we have, and I can probably tell you right now, between the pond and between the sewer plant, we better hope we can get these LMI reports done and get some grant money, because we're out gonna be out $1 million. $500,000 at the sewer plant for UV, because we're probably not gonna renew our permit the way it is. We're in trouble. And it's because of not running things correct. We can correct running things correct, but I can't run 4 years of not running them correct. Now, I've been mayor for 8 months, so 7 months of it's on me. I've been moving as fast as I can move, but anyway, that's it here.
Well, you have made a mess in 7 months.
But anyway,
That was a joke, though.
I know, it's a mess. Okay, the sanitary survey I bought you 2 weeks ago, our last council meeting on the water department. Things are minor in it that they've gotta get done, and we're not gonna turn that had to be 45 days. We sent them a letter, health department, a letter that we're probably not gonna have a sanitary survey report back to them in 45 days because we've got, the tanks are in the process of being cleaned right now. 3 of them are clean, and we like 2.
They'll give us a report when they're done.
Yeah, so, and we get those 5 tanks all done, that's all we like on sanitary survey, but Karen's gonna ask them if they want it without those. If he wants it without those, we can send it in, everything's done, but the contractor's cleaning the tanks, that's not fixing them, that's just cleaning them, and we'll get a report of what we gotta do on them coming back. But other than that, everything, on the water department's great shape. And the tanks, not bad shape, they just hadn't been, they're supposed to be cleaned every 2 years, looked at, and haven't done it in 6 years, so. Anyway, but that's getting done as we speak. So the sanitary survey will be finished and sent into the health department. I have copies of that at the next meeting. So it's both water and sewer department. Change order to Jenkins.
Is this Jenkins or is this Jared?
This Jenkins. This is Jenkins on the change order. The upgrades at the water plant and the lift stations.
Did they put the one with Jared? With the
Jared's is another change order. It may not be in here. I have not seen it yet. I need that. It's not in here, I don't think, but I do need it. And I gave y'all a copy of that, so I need to know where it's at. It's gotta be in there. And right there was the bond, the CDs, I just saw that. All right, I need y'all to vote on this because he put it on one bill. The fishnet lift station, remember the one that all the wires were burned naked? It's all been rebuilt. TJ's got it all rewired, everything in it's redone. It's like a brand new lift station. We have got Tim Carvin down and we've got the first pump rebuilt. The second pump rebuilt next time it gets here. The city's already got all the parts on that, but the parts from Tim Carver on the actual pumps are not in here. This is all the electrical work at $5,200. And these VFDs, we paid for some of the VFDs. This is the rest of the VFDs. All of our pumps are back running now. Both lift stations are back online, full bore. The one at the cemetery, the one at the Stake Ahoy, the one at the cemetery is completely brand new. Everything in it's brand new. The one at the Stake Ahoy is completely rewired. Everything in the wiring is brand new. Pulleys are put new. The motor, we have motor drive assembly or drive assembly on one of the pumps is brand new, and all the check valves. And, we still got an air release to put on them and those kind of things. The parts are bought, so your Tim Carver bill was paid last month. But this is what you're doing, is we had 4 of these 6 VFDs have either went out, one of them was out in October of last year, one of them was out in November of last year, and the other 2 went out, this year. We've had them ordered forever. They finally come in, but all of them are in and working, so. I need y'all to vote to approve that $28,649 because he put it on one bill. It's over my limit. But that's, the next major work that he's gotta do for us is put what I call the dog boxes in. They're bought and paid for, there's labor to put them in, and move your transducers where they won't freeze this winter in the tanks. And that way we can do leak protection. Those boxes we bought, but he hadn't got them put in yet. So we owe him for that, and that's about got TJ wrapped up on all the work that we've got to do.
Did we do the bills of the day at Hilltop, or did TJ put those in?
TJ, check valves.
Check valves, yeah.
Check valves, TJ put them in, that's not
in here.
That's not in this labor. You know, we all had one check valve out there, they had one pump turned off, we ordered 2, they had a spare. That goes, we ordered 2, put one in, open valves up, you ought to heard the same. We've been pumping water to Salem pump station and bringing it back through the Hilltop when it kicks off, and then when the drain pump gets loaded up, we've been sending it back to Salem pump station because the check valves are out. They're fixed. Getting stuff fixed is just, they're fixed. But anyway, we need y'all to approve that, please.
Make a motion to approve the bill for
Now, second,
I'll say.
roll call.
I'll vote with Chris.
Jimmy Clark,
Aye.
Alan Moore, Chris Wood,
Aye.
Terry Bray. All in favor, for Dave, TJ.
Okay, this is y'all's letter of notification, come August 2nd of 2023. This is our renewal permit that has to be completely approved by ADEQ for the sewer plant by 7/31 First part of this application has to be in, and this is our first notice on it. This sheet right here, it's the next one down. You're mixed up in this sheet right here.
We already talked about the hatch stuff.
Yeah, we talked about that. All right. So y'all got that? We done the vote on there, let's just let you know,
Oh, yeah,
that's gonna be, this is a big deal, but it comes every 5 years. It's not something, nothing out of the ordinary on this. It's just your 5-year permit at the sewer plant. And there will be some big changes on it, I can guarantee you. All right. The next one is your July DMR. And guess what? We're busting that sewer plant again. We have not passed a test at the sewer plant. We're not, since we've got, the last 2 months, because that's when I made, Arkansas Analytical start doing all the lab work. We're working on getting everything fixed, so I can get the HACH equipment turned back on. There's more to it than this saying I'm making good water out there. We're working on it. We'll try to get us back in compliance just as quick as we can. We will probably bust this month. And we'll probably bust next month. Hopefully after that, we'll be getting back in shape. All the reports from Arkansas Analytics are right here. Nothing to vote on, they're what they are.
This on 9/5,
We're gonna bust this month.
what, just the chlorine residual, because you were at a .03 instead of a .02? Is that the only one?
Look at Spiegel. We
Well,
got
that was
chlorine,
on-
we got
that
one
was-
chlorine, we're gonna bust on Spiegel too.
That was back on 8/15 though.
We busted on both of you. We are, you want me to explain, we're dechloring way more than we need to, and we're cutting the chlorine back, 1 notch a day, or 1 notch a week on the dechlor in the air chamber till we get back to get our chlorine residual up. We repipe the chlorine to where it's supposed to be, and we're putting 7 parts per million in the contact chamber like we need to be, and we're killing too much of it, and so you even though you're still showing chlorine residual, we gotta clean some other stuff up in the plant we're working on, okay? This is not an easy solution, but we'll get there.
Well, what sucks about it is you can fix your E. coli problem, not bust one in, but
You're
you're
gonna
probably
bust
gonna bust
on,
one
you're gonna bust on
chlorine.
chlorine. That's why we'll probably have UD out there in our next permit. Nothing $500,000 won't cover, maybe. All right, the next letter is just information again. That's your 605 confirmation from your audit committee. Everything's fine with the rates the way we are. So those will be,
The rest of it, the line is-
yes, everything, they're happy with it. And so everything's ready to move forward there. The next letter is just a certification of termination of tax that I had to sign and release. That will do away with the sales tax, put the new tax on. That's just termination of the old. And like I said, next month, if anybody wants to look at it, that is the company that's doing the financial stability of the city of Glenwood. The bonds will sell on the 24th. We all have to be here that night, because that's the night of the council meeting, and the bond attorneys will be here, and you'll sign all the paperwork on issuing all the new work, and new bonds for, well, this finishes out the old bonds, gets new paperwork turned over, gets it ready where we can start getting the other projects ready to start. But we gotta get the old finished before we move the new. But this will take care of all the old and move it to the new bonds. And it looks like you're at 3. The bond rates last week were 4.3 to 4.378, 4.387 is what the bond sold for on municipal bonds last week. Okay? Okay, A.L. Franks, water replacement, change order.
I'll give you a copy. good, but there's one in your file, there's also one in there, so now you got two.
The change, well, you just got one change order.
Well, there was one already in the packet, and I was passed out another one.
If you wanna see what the brass and meter boxes are costing you, we're talking about lowering water rates, or tapping fees, there's $200 labor and that's $650, and that does not include a meter. We're using the old meters. We did not put that in the contract for the bid, and that's all the new brass and a valve box is $450 just for the parts. You got $200 labor in there to hook all them up. So y'all were asking for that cost, there it is. That $950 is a double set. The long side boards, he's putting 2 meters in one box. So that's the change order I need.
It says setters in here.
He's putting setters in there so they don't spread holes in and out. So you stay, if you ever have to change meter, they'll stay.
Are they new construction, or are they,
I'll have to look at them, they put setters in them and.
They're built into the box now.
Huh?
the boxes y'all have, they're built in?
Well, that's what they're making.
Cause
It's a sealed box with the setter already built in.
okay, I just dislike new construction setters,
You know, this is,
cause. we
We're
gotta
putting
work with
bottoms,
bottoms, so
knees
they're
and
gonna
all
roll
that,
it.
so.
no, this is okay.
So I need a motion to accept. This money is coming out of the,
American Rescue.
American Rescue money. This isn't coming out of, we'll have about $10,000 left in this after we get through this change order. So this is not coming out of any city fund. It has to be, we have to get this money spent pretty quick.
And the increase in the, what is
The increase is for the, he didn't put any, it was in the bid, he just got stuff out there, and you can't hook all that stuff up. We went back and looked at it. A lot of those old meter boxes are shallow, and they just all gotta be reset. This is to dig them all up and get them down to depth, and to come bring a line, get back up, look on the customer service line, hook it back up. And the way the job was bid was just service. Line be stubbed up, and you can't hook that up right. Huh?
I was just asking.
I'll tell you right now, if it's the type of boxes I'm thinking, you'd be a lot better off with it.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Have a second? Brenda, would you, roll call please?
Terry Brady, Bruce Fuller,
Aye.
Jimmy Clark, Al Moore. All in favor of approved change order.
Brenda? Did you get your copy of that and give it to me around the sign copy, please? The next thing we've got to discuss, remember the LMI income, it's the, Survey of Community Development Block Grants that Karen said she'd get the monkey thing mailed out on and get everybody to sign and send back in. We didn't have to do anything to get her LMI money. Well, out of 180, she got 15 back. So, we have got, I had Miranda go in. She sent us this appeal boxes back. Miranda had a way to go in there and look at appeal boxes, get physical addressed, and don't need the names. There's 5 questions on the survey. Well, one of them's please enter the code on your postcard, so that's got the person's address on it. And then how many people live in a residence, what's your income, that's the 5 questions. But we've gotta go, if we're gonna get any LMI, be qualified for any LMI grants, which, for instance, the project at the sewer plant that we're probably gonna have to do, we qualify possibly for LMI money. We need, but if we don't get signed up, it's $500,000 every 3 months that they're qualifying on LMI grants. But if we don't get this, we're not LMI eligible right now. If we go get these done, it's not 100% sure you're gonna have to be LMI eligible, but it's got a very good chance of being LMI eligible if we take the effort to get these finished. Out of 180, we got 15 of them done. Miranda has them all put in straight order, and where we gotta go, but somebody's gotta go ask the people that live in these houses 5 questions. And it's not anything personal. Well, how many people live in the house, and I think it asks, then circle here what the income of the people are. It's not asking for a name.
How important is it that we get that?
Well, if you wanna get any block grant money for the next 5 years, this is your only shot at it. Kind of very, very important.
Why don't we look at the possibility of getting, enlisting the services of someone that is good at doing that? And spending $1,000 or $2,000 on something like that, and let someone that's good at doing that do it.
I'm all ears for what we gotta do. The only thing I'm telling you is, if we're gonna get LMI eligible for any of the block grant money, we are not today. It could be, you're not gonna qualify for projects at $500,000 a quarter, because everybody in the nation's trying to get this. But it's up to 500, and that's grant, that's not loan, that's grant money. You're gonna.
There may be somebody at National Park, community
Brenda,
college,
have
that
you
would
seen the
do it
list?
as part of a class.
Yeah, we've got it.
How many of those people come in and pay their water bill personally? Would you say roughly, could you ask them if they take the time to fill that out when they come and pay their water bill?
Really.
It's gonna,
I
I
mean,
have to look at the names, I've been looking at
I'm
addresses.
just saying, when they, come in, hey, we,
Cattle Hills,
Yeah.
schools, might do it as a class assignment to someone that was going to school for marketing, or that's just happening.
Who all, Brenda, who all, can your husband find out who's got somebody in marketing class? I know they've usually got a good one. This will be a good project for them.
Yeah, I can ask.
So let's ask them at Center Point, because if they got a marketing program, this would be a good
It'd be a
project.
great project.
where's that new lab then?
Okay, so this has to be done now, because the signing period for the first one is closing. Karen didn't tell me, but he said it's very close to the deadline of getting it done, so we need, of course, you miss this one, you can apply for the next one.
October the 1st, I think.
Huh?
October the 1st.
Maybe. If we miss the first one, it's good, then you're good for 5 years. It's not, if you don't get them done, you're not gonna be eligible for any of this grant money. And I tell you one thing, if we can get grant money, I'm upset with the government spending all this money, but the city of Glenwood better get all that's gonna be put out, because all the other cities are. If you don't get it, shame on you, that's all. Because it's going out. All right, Miranda, will you mind, y'all okay with Miranda? Her husband works up at Cattle Hills, and they've been real good about it. You wanna get, Miranda, we can get him and get in touch with him? Okay? All right. The 3 the CDs that y'all see down there were due. Ryan called all of the banks and got a rate, and Diamond was the most, and they were at Diamond, so I just told him to roll them over.
So we just did maintenance on the 3 CDs, basically. I have a copy of all the rates. You guys, I called a couple of you, but I didn't call every single one of them, because it ended up being maintenance, because Diamond was clearly higher for the rates that we wanted, and so we just went ahead and did maintenance on that.
This is what you were doing while I was on vacation.
Yes.
I remember talking to you, told you
Yes.
whatever was the highest I agreed.
Now then,
But I believe I'm gonna put
if
it
y'all
on
look
this.
at this sheet right here, because I can't keep track of it, that's your CDs. And we're gonna start giving you that on a monthly basis, and we'll start looking at the due date, and don't let them slip up on us. That's all your CDs, and the banks is where they are.
Yeah, we got some of them, and we've been going 6 months, and.
6
some of
months, a
the-
year, 18 months.
Some of the banks had specials this time. They had a 9-month special, they had a 22-month special, and all those played factors in it, but Diamond Bank at a year still beat all the rates.
So Ryan, if you wanna look at the interest rates, Ryan has them. I didn't look at them, Ryan had them. He's a quarter treasurer, and Ryan had them, and he took care of the problem. Okay? All right.
So I do need a motion in order to just keep all that good with Diamond Bank.
I'll make it.
A motion to approve. Okay.
Brenda, do we have to have a, just in minutes, or do we have to have just keep doing it so will it be all right if they get it next month, or is he gonna have to get the minutes out a little early?
second that, Jimmy?
No, we've already signed
Make a
it.
motion, I second.
I just need to put it in the minutes.
Okay.
So-
We gotta give them a copy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Motion, Jimmy made it, 2 seconds.
I did.
Chris, roll call.
Terry Brady,
Aye.
Alan Moore, Chris Fuller,
Aye.
and Jimmy Clark. All in favor, keep the CDs there.
Okay, next thing, we're ready to move at the, building over there. We've got all the phone equipment hooked up, all the computer server and all is in. I personally think we ought to hire the city crews to come in one Saturday and move everybody on a Saturday, so we don't have city hall disturbed. But we really don't need to move in that new building without a sign on it, what you gonna call it. Being asked for people to know where they need to go pay the bills in city hall, so. Can you tell me what kind of sign you wanna put on over there, and let's get a sign? Cause you need something other than just, everybody's over in that building, no name on it.
We're gonna just see municipal operations,
Little
or
city,
city.
municipality, whatever, municipal.
Make a motion on name and tell me what kind of sign you wanna get. So we get
Well,
moving.
the shorter the name, the cheaper the sign. Let's call it cheap place. Cheap place. Let's just call it, possibly, Glenwood
Utility.
Utilities. Perfect.
You'll be more than that, because all your police bill paying, everything's gonna be over there,
That's the utility of the city, with this one.
okay? I'm with you. I'm fine with that, that's what we're gonna call it.
Glenwood operations or?
Glenwood operations sounds good to me. Yeah, that covers everything there.
Glenwood Operations, have a
Yes.
motion on that?
Yeah, we can cut the S off, but saves another couple $100.
All right, somebody make a motion, I'm fine with that name, I just need to know what you wanna put on that. Put it in that round area where the sign was?
Yeah.
Municipality, division operation.
What is the actual definition of municipality? Because I don't wanna read that anymore.
Good after. But you go to any city, it just says, whatever that city name municipality is.
Well, you know, we're gonna have to stick something temporary over here that, you know, that's real noticeable before we get out of the car, you know, that, you know, we've, yeah.
Cause well, this is still gonna be, cause this can be city hall.
This is gonna be City Hall, so that's gonna be all your offices, your day-to-day
Hey,
offices.
Glenwood Annex, would that work?
Glenwood Operations Center. I don't know.
That's horrible, guys, come on.
Throw some ideas out.
Glenwood Annex.
Got before I got an idea, well, I'm.
Anybody have that? Come on.
What about something about customer service center?
Probably doing court stuff over there.
You will be doing court stuff over there, all the court
Sounds-
payments will be over there.
Municipality means a city or town that has corporate status of local government.
I think something with municipality.
About
Glenwood Municipal Utilities.
Municipal building.
Municipal utilities or building or something.
Municipal building.
Relating to a town or its governing body.
Glenwood Municipal, call it good.
Yeah, Glenwood Municipal.
Or Glenwood Utility.
Did you get your copy?
Glenwood City.
Glenwood Municipal sound good.
Miranda works here.
Utilities or something.
Good utilities.
Everyone understands all the municipal buildings, everybody from Googling what the heck it means.
Glenwood Utilities.
Utilities.
Glenwood Utilities.
Alright.
It's just then you got people coming and trying to pick the one up they get.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah.
Glenwood Utilities, have a motion to call the new building Glenwood Utilities.
Utilities.
I'll
Just made the
second that
motion.
Have a second, roll call.
And that's gonna include the police department?
Yes, ma'am.
And the utility building?
No.
It will not include the police department,
Police
just
department's
paying the bills for the police department.
The court system.
The court building will be over there, but the police department's still gonna be here.
Fire department will still be here.
Fire department will still be here. City council meetings will still be here.
What about Glenwood Billing Department? I mean, that's kind of out there, but
I have a motion on the floor to have a second,
Yeah,
and I'm fine with your deal, but I have a motion on the floor.
yeah.
yeah, we had a motion and a second, we need a roll call.
Roll call.
What's it gonna be?
Glenwood Utilities.
Glenwood Utilities is what they go down.
Have a motion and a second to call new building Glenwood Utilities. Any other discussion?
I don't think, just utilities, cause you got people coming there trying to set up their energy. If I move to a new city and I see it said Glenwood Utilities, I'm going in there and get my water, sewer, electric, cable, internet, everything turned on.
I honestly think we're gonna be better off putting Glenwood Water Department on there, because we're already gonna have a hard enough time, people adjusting to our new building. Even though Brenda will be there.
Water and court.
I'm gonna hide.
Hey, I know how to do it, I just had a brainstorm, Glenwood, ETC. That's cheap,
Et cetera.
Glenwood, et cetera.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. I don't care if you don't vote for this, I don't care how you do it, but I have a motion and a second on the floor. I need, any other discussion?
Maybe it should be Glenwood Water and Billing, you know.
You can vote it down and put another vote on the floor, I'm fine. You got a motion and a second on the floor.
All in favor of that one?
All in favor of Glenwood, what'd y'all say,
Glenwood Utilities.
utilities? If you don't like that, vote it down and put another one on the floor. I don't care what you do, but you have a motion second.
You the one that know that.
I know, but then everybody started changing their
Right,
minds,
so,
so.
let's, throw that one out, let's vote it down.
You gotta vote it down, though. That's what you're gonna do.
Okay, Glenwood
Nay,
Utilities,
everybody's saying nay.
Carrie says nay, Jeremy Clark,
No.
nay,
Right.
okay, so it's 2-2.
Now
So
we
you
make
like
the
second
motion.
it, so.
No, he voted nay, what do you vote, Chris? Did you vote?
They voted, they
We're
voted.
voting against our own
Made the
motion,
motion
Jerry.
passes.
I know.
Glenwood Water Department's gonna be the most self-explanatory. It really
Is it
is.
2 to
But it
2?
used to say-
Yeah, it was 2-2.
I refuse to vote. So now I gotta go back and vote again. It's fine.
Motion removed.
I make a motion, we call it Glenwood Water Department. That's the lady that sits in there all the time, people stick their head in the door and say, where's the water department, is that right or wrong?
All the time.
New motion.
It needs to say-
I have a motion to call the new building Glenwood Water Department. Do I have a second?
What'd you say, Glenwood Water and
Did
what?
you say water department? What'd you say?
Glenwood Water
Water and
Department
billing.
is what I said.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I say Glenwood Water Department.
She said Glenwood Water Department, you said water and billing? Which way do you want it?
I think water and billing, so they know that like, if they have to go to pay whatever there.
See, right now they come here, it's just, they go to.
We'll make your motion however suits you. And I'll
You need a
second.
motion.
Okay, I'm making a motion that it says Glenwood Water and,
Billing?
Water and Billing Department.
Alan made a motion for Glenwood
Water and Billing Department.
Water / or and billing.
Did I have a second to that? Did you second that?
I second it.
Carrie seconds it.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Chris Fuller,
Aye.
Jimmy Clark,
Nay. I want to do it. That's just-
Alan Moore,
Alright,
and Carrie Brady. So it's 3-1.
So carried.
Carrie's 3-1.
All right. Next thing on the list, Sharon asked for Freedom of Information Act last week or September 1st. We gave it to her. She's not happy with it. There's information we can't give her. The voter registration she can buy at Murfreesboro. The city didn't buy voter registration. So she can buy it at Murfreesboro. It's not ours to pass out. She's welcome to that for public information. We can't give her, said you can't give her water and sewer customers billing addresses. We gave her the bill of the total election. She wanna know how much the engineer, how much the lawyer and the engineer and everybody's costs were. We haven't paid anybody any money, it's in their fees. For instance, when Hallgrove, Stevens and Frost issues their bond issue, their money will be in there. When Andy issues the work order to do the water project and the sewer project, he'll get paid his fees that Natural Resource sets as his fees, that's when he'll get paid. Who else was here? One other one, the guy that did the 605 rate study. It's a flat fee that he does to do all that work, and he come down here, no more charge, whether he come down here or not, it wasn't gonna be any more difference in price. His fee didn't change, but and she has the price of that. And she has the price of the total election. So I gave her the information that we can give. We're not trying to hide anything from her. We gave her everything we can legally give her. Okay, Joe Patrick, pickleball.
Yeah, I've been before you before with the pickleball, and, it's starting to catch on all over the country. Golf increased in the last 3 years, less than 1 million new players. Tennis, 3 to 4 million. Pickleball, 4 million up to 48 million. It's everywhere. In Little Rock, they've got a big, multi-million-dollar complex they're building. They're putting in all the parks. Hot Springs is the center nationally. People moved to Hot Springs Village just because of the pickleball, all the way from Connecticut, places like that. This, I'm doing an advertisement for it, asking for something. Anyway, this is Hot Springs Village 10 years ago. You know, and now it's just going crazy. And the reason it is so popular is because it appeals to all ages. You can be any condition or anything and you get on that pickleball court. I've seen guys 300 pounds out there winning tournaments. It's crazy. So you play all different levels, and it's something you can play the first day you go out on the course. You know, and you can actually do it. I stopped at Murfreesboro the other day and saw a bunch of girls playing tennis against another town, and guys who were out there playing tournament. And I walked up to the girls and I said, "Do you ever hear of pickleball?" And they said, "We love pickleball." We finally, on those courts that y'all gave me permission to mark off, and I remarked them in the last 3 years 3 more times with $10 worth of paint. I got pliers. Anyway, those courts are being used now. Sue, me, a bunch of others. Monday and Thursday nights are playing. There are kids that are coming out there that don't know anything about it. They bought paddles and they're out there hitting on the court with no net. It costs $100 to put a net out there. So what I'm saying is, you know, this is getting to be a big thing, and somehow I'd like for Glenwood to get in on more. Like I say, I've got those 2 courts over there at the park, but I've heard all these money situations tonight. What would be great is to put a practice wall where we used to have that big wall. I mean, just, have somebody do some research, $526.25 to put a mortar wall up there. Or you could do like they've done up at Camp Chaffee and put a nice plywood green wall for people to practice on. The kids are going over there and starting to do that, and they're watching us play and they're wanting to know what it's all about. If you watch TV, the commercials, at least 3 times a day I see where they're advertising out on a pickleball court. I'm telling you, it's everywhere and it's growing. It's even all over Europe now. So anyway, that's my commercial. The only thing I'd like to ask for is just that practice wall there where we already got the concrete, you know, and like 10 feet high, 12 feet wide. That would be great. And like I say, it wouldn't be much expense at all. Ultimately, I'd like to see lights out there, but I know that's kind of a big thing. And permanent posts and nets would attract a lot more people. Like I say, I saw these kids out there and they were hitting. They didn't have any net. They just bought the paddles. They didn't know what to do with them. I said, "Come over here, I'll show you the rules." I did free lessons just because I love it. I first played over 20 years ago. The game was invented in 1965. COVID is what made it really come alive because people were looking for something to do. So that's where the big growth has been. So, and the other thing I want to add on is that Scott Turner's a big frisbee golf. And I presented a few years ago, I even gave an aerial view of the park. A 9-hole frisbee golf course would attract a lot of people, and you've got plenty of space in that park. So I'm just putting the ideas out there. I'm all about entertainment. I'm retired. Sue and I like to do stuff like that. So, you know, I hear all the problems with the entertainment. I mean, even Arrowhead out there had me come out there and mark their basketball court out for pickleball, and they're having a bunch of kids come this weekend. They're hoping to have nets. They bought 2 nets, put them up, and have entertainment for the kids.
How can we help you?
Huh?
How can we help you?
Well, first of all, I'd like that wall for practice. That's the simple, very inexpensive thing. That's And then Frisbee golf, I think, I've seen it on like Fort Smith on a school campus. And, you know, when kids aren't in school, people out there playing Frisbee golf. It's like Washita campus has an 18-hole course. The Gray has one. Frisbee courses are everywhere too. My kids played Frisbee course, Frisbee course in Shreveport when they were little. They're in their 50s now. I'm just saying, this is stuff that would attract people when they come here and camp and go down the river. Hey, they got Frisbee, or they got pickleball. Like I say, I would like,
Did you say the dimensions on the wall were?
pardon me?
How big was that wall need to be?
It could be like, 10 feet tall and about 18 feet wide.
And that
Ideally,
bid
you,
was-
huh?
That bid was for a 10-foot by 18-foot block wall?
Yeah,
For 500?
that's what it was, with all the materials, that's not the way we're gonna build it,
So
but
it's
that's the
materials?
materials, right.
Okay.
And that would be with, one of those, brick or concrete or something. Plywood would look a lot better, painted green, put a stripe across it for practicing. I mean, when they had the old wall there, I used to see people playing tennis and hitting on it all the time. I did too, I practiced pickleball and tennis.
Is that racquetball court out there still?
No, that's what we're talking about. It's not there. But the concrete is there, and you can put the wall right up against that fence, you know, for practice. And like I say, ultimately, it would be nice to have a permanent, just like those tennis posts are permanent, and have a pickleball post. Now, pickleball net costs $100, so people bring their own, they can set them up in 10 minutes, and that's okay, too. And the lines I'm marked off are not professional, but they work, don't they? Okay, so, yeah.
Well, it would be nice to have a permanent pickleball net, you know?
It would be. That would attract more kids, like I say, the kids that came out there, so that would not be very expensive at all, to just put at least one permanent net where people could come out there. You know, if you wanted to put one that was kind of, couldn't get torn up, could be made out of wire maybe or something.
I think that's one of our biggest problems is maintenance and maintaining of equipment that we have out there. We don't have the manpower nor the money to.
The only equipment would be that
maintain
net.
it.
There wouldn't be any maintenance of a wall, concrete.
Well, a concrete wall, maybe not, but a plywood wall eventually would get damaged and
It could, yeah.
have to be replaced.
I've got a picture of one here in Camp Chaffee. It's,
See, one on that, get some quotes on
one like that in Camp Chaffee, it's in there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, you know, plywood eventually out in the rain and the weather, you know.
Yeah, we'll do something like that.
Sure.
I agree.
Let's.
Now, are the poles for the nets where they need to be?
What, with the poles, with the nets right now? Well, when you bring your net out, it comes in a bag, like this big of a bag, it's got the poles, everything. You just stick them together.
No, I mean, no, you said it needed permanent, you said something about permanent for the net.
Yeah, if you did that, it'd be like the tennis court poles that are there for the tennis net, and you put them there, and, of course, that kind of poles, you'd have to have a net with it too. That would be one like they got out in Chaffee, they got like 12 courts out there, so, anyway, I'm not proposing this to get stuff that started like that, to,
You get somebody to do it.
considering the Frisbee golf.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, I'll make that, at least give us a price on what it'll cost.
Yeah, I'll second that, or.
Okay, so we got a motion from Chris, get a price on the wall.
Good.
What all would need to be done, for Frisbee golf?
Frisbee golf? Those are baskets that can
They
be
get
put.
permanently installed in the
They
ground.
can be concreted into the ground there, and they're just metal. I mean, I've got one in my house, I just did different places on my lot.
Yeah.
Did that by the river and marked and flagged. But this would be several different ones all over. They only cost about $100.
Are they still playing soccer out there?
Yeah, okay, so I got a second by Alan.
Motion and second.
Price of the wall.
It's just a general.
Right, right. It's good bids right now.
Motion motion and second, get bids on the wall, any other discussion?
Motion and second.
And the nets.
Tonight, I haven't seen anybody playing soccer in a long time.
I think on the weekends, there's a group of people that do.
Soccer seats.
Yeah, you wouldn't wanna put up one of the permanent.
Right, that's where that comes
that's
in.
the only thing I don't wanna do is
Park,
miss
they
something
do
like that,
baseball
too.
practice, t-ball practice.
Right.
You see, but the way the golf is also designed, you can do it around the park.
That's
Right.
right, yeah, that's true.
You have to play that out.
Like I said, Catholic school in Fort Smith has 9 holes all over the playground, but nobody, well, school's in session plays, that's the rule, you know, they'll run you off. But on the weekends, school's out, you see people going from hole to hole all around that course, so it could be something like that. But you're right, I wouldn't want to interfere with the soccer, because it would be things that would be in the way.
Thank you.
Anyway, I don't know what to do, but we could look at that possibility too.
Yeah, we currently have a motion to get a price on the wall, on the permanent wall.
Yes.
I'd say do permanent or not do a wall at all.
Yeah.
So I got, Chris got that motion, Alan seconded,
Roll call.
Terry Brady.
Uh,
Okay, all in favor?
Who's gonna get them to get what you need for the wall?
Yeah, we'll need to get something. Can you give us the exact dimensions that what that wall needs to be? 18 by 10 is good?
Yeah, why don't you just draw it up and leave it tomorrow at the water department? That'd
Yeah,
be
you can bring
fine.
it into
Do
my
what?
office.
Miranda's
Miranda.
office.
You can leave it at Miranda's office tomorrow, just draw it up sometime
Okay.
tonight, exactly what you think.
Bring it up for city.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Who's tall? You gonna turn that on? Jeff?
Right here?
Yeah.
Have one and pass one.
Well, it's above it now, it's on its final line. Glad you're coming over.
It's on your end.
Anyway, if it's green, it's deadline and everything. There it is.
These lights off.
He's coming back.
Ready?
I know everybody, I guess, and, I'm David Blackman, local resident, last 69 years, retired 2 years ago. And, one of my goals in retirement is, I'd like to restore, renovate the depot down on 70 and make a historical museum out of the freight train. I've already started, I have the chamber's blessing, I suppose I'm representing our chamber as well as myself here today. And I'd like to show you what we've accomplished and what my vision is for the depot. So this is, not here really to ask for a whole lot, I'm here to.
Mayor, is it possible that you can move a mic toward him because we can't hear?
Talk a little louder, David, please.
Well,
These won't
David-
amplify, sure. They just record, but talk a little louder, please.
Is there a mic?
Yeah,
No,
he's
record.
recording. There should
These
be a
just
speaker
record, they
mic. There's
won't-
always a speaker mic. So if you could get closer to them, nobody can hear you.
You're not gonna be able to hear on these, Sharon, they just record, they don't amplify.
Yeah, I can hear you
Talk a little
just
louder,
from here.
man.
Okay.
slide right up here, we'll at least have you on the record. That'd be all right?
Sure. This should record it.
Thank you.
It's
That's-
recorded.
Yeah, it doesn't amplify, just
It
record.
is very important.
I'll try to talk louder.
That'd be good too.
So, what am I doing here? I am, here to, inform the council and the city of Glenwood and the local area what the chamber's vision, what my vision is for the depot, and what the, chamber's vision is for the depot. You probably know that the, city owns the depot, and the chamber has like a 99-year lease. We're probably 10 or 15 years into that. Is that better, or is that
You're
maybe a
doing
little
great.
louder?
You're doing great.
So, I'd like to show you some slides here. So again, what am I doing here? I'm here to just communicate our vision, the chamber's vision and my vision to the community, the council, the city, and to ask for the community's help in getting this thing done. The chamber loves the idea. Let's see if you like it. Okay, this is the freight room inside of the depot. And, we've been working on it about a month. Next slide. If, let's see, go to full screen there somewhere. I think you did great. Yeah, okay, that's the first slide. Okay, next slide. Okay, now this is video. I took this morning. This is the freight room.
Not supposed to be the video.
Apologize for the difficulties here. I'm not an Apple user, and we had to put this on Apple to make it work. So let's move ahead. This is the freight room here. Next slide. And when we started, we got a lot of problems at the depot. The depot was built in 1905. It's 117 years old. We have termites in there. We have a deck that's worn out. It was put in 2005, or maybe 2008. We have broken glass from burglars. We have a lot of problems, and we're gonna fix them all. That's our goal. Next slide, please. There you see some of the problems. One air conditioner didn't work, that's been repaired, all that's been cleaned up, the broken window's been fixed. Termite company is coming tomorrow. We're spending the chamber's spending $2,500 for an extensive termite treatment in there. We've also got something called the powder post beetle infestation. which is the second most destructive wood eater behind termites. Those little guys are in there as well. They will be knocked out.
Somebody took the wheels off the train car.
Who's calling it real cousin over there?
Oh, yeah.
It's the depot.
This is the deck. Deck had a big hole in it. That's a temporary, oh, by the way, Yellowwood, Great Southern Company, has donated, I heard this morning, that they confirmed that they are supplying a brand-new composite deck to replace everything there.
That's it.
That's gonna last a long time.
That doesn't really go back that long.
Pardon?
Was it deck or handrail?
Both. And then, they're gonna be talking to the local hardware and lumber store about supplying the foundation.
That sounds cute.
If you get my drift.
In Morrison's County.
Next slide. Okay, so, this is Mr. Woody Massey, who's been, that's termites. Right there. That's a 12-foot by 8 by 9 beam. And it's moist, and that's, termites are real happy there. They won't stay. But they're not going to stay. They're going bye-bye tomorrow. We have a new beam put in there. We're gonna jack the building up. We're gonna put the new beam under there and let the building down. This is the sign. I am talking to Federal Heat Sign Company, a company, that's an old Exxon sign right there. And these poles so they're in Jacksonville, Texas, and they, I'm asking for a free sign. Done a lot of business with them over the years, and we got a real shot at getting a half-price sign or maybe a no-price, brand new sign. The new sign will say they're working on the art. I'm sorry.
I said bless you.
The new sign will be redesigned. That'll be taken down. The poles will be sanded and painted. And we met with Dr. Tim Bainham this morning about being a major benefactor. Yellowwood will be a major, Great Southern will be a major benefactor, and we're talking to a couple more. And their logos will be on the bottom of the sign when it's redesigned. Renovated built in '05, renovated in 2008 by the Glenwood Chamber. So it's time for a major overhaul, past time. The depot is on the National Register of Historic Places. We're talking to the Arkansas Historic Preservation Society in Little Rock about a $15,000 grant. We would supply $5,000 of that, and they would come back with 10, and it's a $15,000 grant. Hopefully, first quarter of 24, we hope. We're working on it.
So it's a $10,000 grant. They would provide $10,000. The city, you're asking to provide another $5,000.
City's not bothering this.
City's here for demonstration purposes only.
The chamber, the 5,000 is local funding.
It's a co-op.
Yeah,
It's co-op.
it would come from,
I understand what's going on.
we'll handle 5,000, and the chamber will. It's not the city, it's the chamber. And the 10 would come from the Historical Society of Arkansas.
Question. When you were talking.
Could I'm sorry,
Yes,
Sharon,
go
let me
ahead.
go through and then I'll take questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A co-op is like a coop with a dash in the middle. You don't make another dash.
So noted. All right, that's the depot. Okay, next slide. Okay, that's some of the composite decking sitting on the ground a mile north of here at Great Southern today. They have part of the composite decking in Buckner, Missouri, part of it here. They're gonna truck it down here for us. They're gonna supply all the composite decking. They agreed to. In 2008, we did $80,000 or $100,000 worth of remodeling the chamber, and the city's been very helpful with that about it. I'm going to digress here and say thank you, City Council, for I've sat here as y'all have for an hour or two and listened to y'all handle problems. God bless you. Thank you for keeping the water running and the commodes flushing. Thank you. That's a messy job. I dealt with ADEQ, which is now Arkansas Energy and the Environment, 48 years. Those are tough folks. And thank you. So that's part of the, where the chamber used to meet. And this part of the depot is already, the inside is in pretty good shape. Okay, this was taken Friday or Saturday. I guess it was, yeah. So that's the new beam that's going in to replace termite-eaten beam. That was at no cost. That was donated by Joe Short, treated by Great Southern Yellowwood at no cost. Okay. And I think we're back to the interior of the depot. We put in okay, you see the new light fixtures. Those are put in today at no cost. Thank you. I'm going to step back a little bit. So, I'd like to thank you for the time. I have just one or two more things to say and then I'll shut up.
You done a fine job, Dave.
I handed out to, I think, everybody in the room, some pictures and, now, I'm talking to everybody in the room here. We need some help on this. You don't have to be a skilled carpenter, a mason. We just need people to clean things. We're putting antiquities and pictures and art in the depot. There's a model train set in there. So I'm putting out the call to everybody. We need help. We need bodies to help us. We are going to make this thing happen. Okay. I'm gonna close with this. In your handout, there's something about an Arkansaurus. Arkansaurus. Does anybody know what an Arkansaurus is? Well, let me tell you what an Arkansaurus is. I was searching depots, looking for things to put in it to make it a destination museum. And I ran across this little article. It was in Roxburgh in 1972. They were grading a county road, a dirt road, and they unearthed a dinosaur fossil. And so they sent it up to the UA at Fayetteville, and said, what is this thing? And they determined it was a prehistoric dinosaur. And if you Google it on Wikipedia, this is what you'll find. So, I believe it was named the Arkansaurus. It's like something between a T-Rex and a wild turkey. It's about 6 to 15 feet tall. It's very fast. Now here's the best part.
How tall did you say it was?
It's 6 to 15 feet. Some of you in the room know Mr. John Baker, the sculptor, i.e. welder, out on the east end of town, right? Some of you guys know John Mark? John is gonna build us a life-size Arkansaurus to put at the depot. With that, I conclude my remarks, and thank you, council, for letting me speak, and,
Thanks for taking an interest in the chamber.
just, stop by and give me a call if you can help, and, stop by, I'm there a lot. You see my pickup there, stop by and I'll give you a tour.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
And the lease with the chamber, if you want to read it, the city pays the insurance on the building, and they pay the liability insurance and content insurance, and do all the maintenance. That's the contract we're in with the chamber.
I forgot to take Q&As, I'm sorry.
They bring, supposed to bring stuff to us, some of the occupancy in the building, they're supposed to let us know we're supposed to approve. But everything, I'm seeing what he does, we don't have anything to vote on. Anybody got any questions from David?
Is that open? Is it still open?
Ma'am?
Is it closed?
It's not open daily, but it's down there that I think they'd like to get it open daily maybe, but it's,
If I'm there, it's open.
right.
Several of us used to be on there, me and you were on there at the same time at one time.
We worked on
One
it.
was, and-
We used to have a chamber employee down there, but the chamber hasn't had an employee, full time. We used to have a chamber employee that answered the phone all down there.
It's pretty.
There may be something coming to that, and I don't know the chamber's ready to announce that yet. There may be something coming to have an employee down there shortly, but
We're working on that right now.
they'll announce that. They gotta bring it back before the council, but they'll do that when they're ready to bring it before the council.
That museum was very interesting though. It's in that back part in the warehouse area.
Yes.
Got museum articles. Yeah, they were very behind where we used to have the board meetings, back in the back there, in the freight room. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
All right,
Is that small desk still back there? I loaned it. but
In the
it was
freight
back-
room?
It was back there in that room when Sid and
There-
Marietta
there-
Baldwin were so involved and we did those people. and everything.
There is a desk there.
It's sort of-
all right, let's move on. John Powell was not here tonight. He wants to be moved to the front of the meeting next month, and he can't be moved to the front of the meeting next month because front of the meeting next month is gonna be bond attorneys, but if he wants back on if he's got a zoning question, he really needs to take that to the zoning commission, because none of us on the council, Alan represents the council on that, and if there's something he needs to discuss, he really needs to discuss that with the zoning commission, and if he's got a grievance, he brings it back to the council, if I understand the way things are supposed to work out.
Well, you go through the zoning process, and then if you've exhausted all options, then you can appeal it to the city council. And there can only be one representative on the zoning board that can also be part of the council.
None of us are on the zoning, so,
Who's on the zoning commission besides Al?
ma'am,
Who's on the zoning commission? besides-
Currently, there's Jason Linderman and Johnny Plowler.
Johnny,
Yes,
so there's three.
yes, ma'am, currently, that is correct.
okay. All right. Long meeting now. Did anybody say they need to talk? Huh?
No signatures.
Everybody say? I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to take a session.
Motion to go into executive session?
I'll second you too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.